Welcome to this episode of Silver Expertise Lessons of a Life Lived. Last couple of episodes have been some crazy stories. They are all true. And this one's a little crazy too, and this one is true as well. So this one goes back to mid-2000s. Going back in 2000, I, along with my dad and two sincere friends, Rick Engstrom and Bob Cleveland, founded New Jersey Performance Powerboat Club. And it was basically there's car clubs, and car clubs do poker runs. New Jersey Performance Powerboat Club was a bunch of go-fast boaters, cigarette boats, auto limits, all that kind of good stuff. And we held events, social events, we did overnighters, all that kind of fun stuff. Being based in New Jersey is an interesting place when it comes to people. I was born and raised there, lived there most of my adult life until the age of, 6 years ago. And we had some colorful people that were in the club. Colorful by, I guess you've seen or hopefully have seen the TV show Sopranos, or have seen the movie Gotti, or have seen Goodfellas, or The Godfather. Well, a lot of that happens in New Jersey, New York, and it is not just films in Hollywood. It's real. It is real. It is the real deal. And with go-fast boats, tend to attract some colorful people. And we definitely had some very colorful members of my club. And I will say this, they were all wonderful people to know, to be friends with, to socialize with. And I can say that I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I do keep in touch with several club members, and many of them are still close friends. So where am I going with this? Why does this matter? So I was working for a bank on the West Coast in California, and I was still living in New Jersey, but I was managing the Northeast and also the entire West Coast for the bank when it came to marine lending, boat loans, RV loans. And I used to travel to California about once every 3 or 4 weeks, go out, visit the offices out there, visit the main office. And one day I'm in the main office in San Francisco, and I get a voicemail on my cell phone from my wife at the time. And she says, call me as soon as you can. If something happened to my daughter, if she's okay, something happened. So I immediately call her back. And she goes, what the beep? Is the FBI leaving a message on the house message machine looking for you and asking for you to call them at your earliest convenience. I'm like, I have no idea. I have no clue. She's like, what'd you do? I said, I didn't do anything. Nothing. Zero. So she goes, well, you call me, you call me back. Okay. So I call the FBI office in Red Bank, New Jersey, and I asked for the special agent that called me. And he picked up the phone, introduced himself, and he said, I understand that you are the president of an organization called New Jersey Performance Powerboat Club. Yes, I am. He goes, do you happen to know a so-and-so? Yes, I do. Do you know another person named so-and-so? Yes, I do. Are you friends with them? I said, I would consider myself acquaintances. I see them at our boat club events. I said, but I don't go out to dinner with them. I don't go over to their houses or anything like that. They're like, well, we need all records that you may have pertaining to these people, whether it be membership forms, whether it be event forms, whether it be pictures, anything like that. So I politely told the federal agent, I said, sir, I'm not a rat. I'm not a snitch. I said, if you want anything, you're going to have to subpoena me. You're going to have to subpoena me and subpoena the information that you're looking for. I said, if you subpoena me, I will cooperate with the subpoena. I said, but I am just not going to go ahead and turn over records because you asked nicely. And he said, we will do that. Where are you? And when can we come to your house? I said, I'm currently in California on business. I said, I'm flying back Thursday night. And actually, it was Friday. I was flying back Friday. And I said, I have some records at home. I have some records in a storage unit. I said, but, I don't even know if I have everything that you're looking for. He said, well, you need to come back as soon as possible. We need to meet with you. I said, well, I already have my ticket booked. I said, I'm flying out Friday morning. And he says, what flight? What time? So I give him, Continental Airlines at the time. I give him the Continental number. I give him the flight. And like, what time do you land? I said, I land around 5 o'clock. He said, good. What time will you be home? I said, I'll be home 6, 7 o'clock. Good. We'll come to your house. I said, listen, got a little shitty with him. And I said, listen, I need to go digging for any information that you have. I said, but the first thing you're going to do, I said, is that when you do show up, you're going to hand me the subpoenas. Because again, I'm not turning over anything, being a rat or anything like that. They said, okay, fine. How about Saturday morning? I said, okay, Saturday morning. I said, how about 12 noon? That's because I need time to look for the things that you're looking for. So he says, okay, fine, great. Look forward to seeing you then. So I call my wife at the time, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And I explained to her what they were looking for. And I told them that, I wasn't just arbitrarily offering anything. I said I needed a subpoena to turn that information over. So she just, again, how many FBI calls your house looking for you? Do you think your girlfriend, your wife, your kids are going to lose their mind when they hear that at the time? So I go ahead and get on the flight, and we're 3/4 of the way over the country, and all of a sudden there's thunderstorms in New Jersey. So we actually get diverted to Cleveland. And I'm sitting on the plane. I call the FBI office from my cell phone, and I said, listen, I'm delayed. And I said, I don't know when I'll be getting home. And they say, are you giving us a hard time? I said, listen, you're the FBI. You look up my flight number. You see where the hell I am. And I said, you'll see that I'm not lying. I said, I don't know what the hell time I'm getting home tonight. I'm getting home tomorrow, whatever. I said, but as of right now, let's stick to the 12 noon tomorrow and we'll go forward. So he goes, okay. So I finally got home that night. I start digging through stuff. Next morning, I go to the storage unit. I look for stuff. 12 o'clock, sure as can be, 2 cars pull up in front of my house, unmarked FBI cars, come up, knock on the door, open the door, first thing in my face, they got the subpoenas. So they say, can we come in? Sure, come in. Come in. I'll tell you, the FBI, they work in interesting ways. They came in with binders. I've never seen a binder this tall, with copies of checks, email, phone records, and I just was like, wow. So I looked the subpoenas over, I read them clearly, and I turned over what information I could find. And they were thankful, and they said, whatever you do, we advise strongly that you don't tell the 2 people in question that we contacted you. And I said, not a problem. They said, you'll see it in the news soon enough. I said, okay. And that was that. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later, both gentlemen appeared in the news. And that is my bizarre story of the FBI coming to look for me to get information on people. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal analyst, but if you're ever in a similar situation, I would definitely require anybody of law enforcement to require a subpoena, because again, New Jersey, New York, colorful people. I'm addicted to breathing, kind of, steady, ongoing thing. But it was a scary moment at the time. And again, The Sopranos, it's a real. One of my club members, God rest his soul, he passed away a little bit over 5 years ago, I think. He was about the closest thing to Tony Soprano that I've come across. He owned 8 gentlemen's clubs in New Jersey, New York, had a lovely house at the Jersey Shore that I used to go visit, and it was just like being on the cast of Sopranos. It was pretty amazing. And again, all these people I met, wonderful people to me, can't say a bad thing about them. I did get a funny phone call once that said, hey, one of our club members is on the front cover of the New York Post. I'm like, awesome, for what? And he happened to be in a pair of handcuffs wearing our club jacket. getting let out by the FBI. So, but that's it. Hope you enjoyed this short little story, but another crazy one for sure. Thanks for watching. See you soon.